My beloved child, don't scroll, because right now, something happened behind your back that heaven is refusing to let you ignore. They looked at your face, and what they whispered next will shock you, and the moment those words formed in the air, angels paused, time slowed, and your destiny took a sudden turn, because what they said wasn't ordinary gossip, it was a warning, a revelation, a truth that was meant to reach only you. You don't know this yet, but earlier today, someone observed you with a kind of attention they never gave you before. They watched the way your eyes moved, the tension in your jaw, the heaviness you've been carrying in your spirit, and the moment you looked away, they leaned toward each other and whispered something that even the angels reacted to. My child, heaven is telling me to tell you this clearly. What they whispered was not about your looks, it was about your future. It was about a move you were about to make, a blessing you don't see coming, and a jealousy hiding inside someone you trust. You think people don't notice your silence, but someone did, and that silence terrified them, because your silence means you're changing, rising, transforming, becoming stronger than they expected. They whispered, if they find out the truth, everything we planned will fall apart. My child, this one sentence shook the spiritual world because it exposed something heaven has been watching quietly. Someone doesn't want you to discover your own power. Someone doesn't want you to step into the new season that is opening right in front of you. And that's why heaven pushed this message toward you, because if you keep scrolling, you will miss the truth that was meant to protect you today. Listen carefully. Earlier today, someone pretended to admire you, but what their heart said was very different from what their mouth said. They smiled at your face, but deep inside, they were terrified of your energy because they felt something unusual. Your breakthrough is close. They can sense it. They can feel the shift around you. They see you entering a phase where your confidence will rise, your luck will flip, and doors that were locked for months will suddenly burst open. And this is the part that shocked them the most. They know something good is coming your way before you do. They are scared of the new version of you because this new version will no longer tolerate manipulation, lies, or fake affection. When they looked at your face, they recognized the glow of someone chosen, someone protected, someone about to rise unexpectedly. But instead of celebrating you, they whispered fear, jealousy, and disbelief. Someone said, "Why do they still look so calm? Don't they know what's coming?" But what they don't know is that heaven has already shielded your path. Someone else whispered, "I think they're about to walk into something huge, and I think they're finally realizing who the enemy is." My beloved child, the angels heard that whisper, and it shook your timeline, because that whisper was a confession. A confession that someone has been watching your progress more closely than you realized. A confession that someone close has been afraid that you will outgrow them. A confession that someone thought you would stay quiet, stay small, stay unsure, but instead, you are becoming louder in spirit, stronger in purpose, clearer in intuition. And here's the part heaven wants you to know: you are not imagining the strange behavior around you. You are not imagining the sudden distance, the sudden curiosity, the sudden tension. Someone's plan is failing because you are waking up. You've been feeling drained lately because heaven has been stripping away connections that can't go with you into your next season. But today, things changed. Today, when they looked at your face, they saw a warning, a reminder that the very blessing they tried to block will find its way to you anyway. They whispered because they feel exposed. They whispered because they know your intuition is getting stronger. They whispered because they sense that the same person they underestimated is the one God is getting ready to lift. My child, you are entering a phase where people will accidentally reveal their intentions without even speaking directly. Their eyes will tell the truth. Their body language will slip. Their conversations will betray their jealousy. Someone will try to keep something from you, but heaven will expose it. Someone will try to hide their mistake, but the truth will rise on its own. Someone will try to control your choices, but your spirit will break free. And they know this. That is why they whispered. They whispered because they feel the shift. They whispered because they see the protection covering you, protection they don't understand. They whispered because they feel the consequences of their hidden intentions coming closer. But heaven wants you to hear this: you are not alone. You are not unprotected. You are not unnoticed. The spiritual world has been watching you rise silently, slowly, powerfully, and nothing they fear can stop what has already been written. My child, something powerful is approaching your life. And the moment they looked at your face today, they saw it too. They felt the glow. They sensed the breakthrough. And it scared them. That's why they whispered. But heaven whispers louder: stay calm. Stay aware. Stay guided. Your season is shifting. Your enemies are nervous. Your blessings are waking up. And your story is about to shock everyone who doubted you. Don't scroll, because this message reached you for a reason, a divine reason, a reason someone tried to hide from you. But heaven made sure it found you anyway. My beloved child, listen even closer now, because what happened after they whispered is far more dangerous, far more revealing, and far more connected to your destiny than you realize. When they looked at your face, they didn't just whisper once, they whispered twice. The second whisper was softer, sharper, almost shaking with fear, because they noticed something they didn't expect: your spirit is changing direction, and they can't stop it. One of them leaned in and said, if they find out who has been blocking them, everything will explode. This sentence hit the spiritual world like lightning. Because someone you trusted, someone you let close, someone who pretended to care, has been silently limiting your opportunities, controlling the narrative around you, twisting stories, hiding information that was meant to uplift you. For months, you felt stuck, delayed, drained, confused, and now heaven is finally showing you why. My child, this isn't about your face. It's about the truth your face carries, truth they didn't want you to discover. When you walked away today, they saw something in your eyes: clarity. And do you know what clarity does? It exposes manipulators. It exposes liars. It exposes people who can smile at you while secretly praying for your downfall. And that terrified them. That's why they whispered so fast, so quietly, so nervously. The spiritual world saw their heartbeat change. Their breath tighten. Their eyes widen. Because in that moment, they realized they were running out of time. Time to keep you confused, time to keep you small, time to keep you questioning yourself. They felt your energy rising like a storm, and storms reveal everything. My child, someone thought they could keep you in the dark. But heaven is done playing. You felt it, didn't you? That strange heaviness in your chest the last few nights. That sudden intuition telling you something isn't right. That quiet voice saying, "Pay attention." Your soul already sensed it. Your angels already knew. And now this message is confirming it. The whisper you didn't hear was actually a confession. A confession that someone has been talking about you behind closed doors. Talking about your strengths, your weaknesses, your future, your plans. Someone said, "Their luck is about to flip, what do we do now?" Someone else replied, "We can't stop it anymore." Something is protecting them. And that something, my child, is divine intervention. That's why you're reading this. Because heaven is exposing the conversation you were never meant to hear, but absolutely needed to know. After their whisper, something else happened. One of them looked over their shoulder, checking if you were out of sight. But the moment they turned back, they saw something that shook them to the core, a light behind you. Not a physical light. A spiritual one. A glow that made them realize, you are not walking alone. When they saw that glow, their whisper changed. It wasn't gossip anymore. It was pure fear. Someone said, "Why do they still look protected? Why does everything bounce back to them?" Because every attack sent your way failed. Every negative intention returned to its sender. Every trap they set collapsed under its own weight. They thought you were weak. But all this time, you were being prepared. You were being shaped. You were being guarded. And now, the same people who talked about you are realizing that you're not someone they should have underestimated. My child, listen carefully. They didn't whisper because they hate you. They whispered because they're realizing they can't control you anymore. They whispered because they know you're about to break the cycle they trapped you in. They whispered because your next move will change everything, and they can feel it before you even make it. One of them even said, "I think they know the truth, look at their face." And yes, you do know the truth, maybe not fully, maybe not clearly, but your spirit has been warning you. That's why random memories recently resurfaced. That's why your intuition has been louder than usual. That's why you've been noticing people's behavior shift. Heaven is rewiring your vision. Your eyes will soon see what your soul has already sensed. But here's the most shocking part, my child. After they whispered, someone else walked into the room. Someone who has been watching everything from the shadows. Someone who knows more than they're saying. This person didn't whisper. They just looked, right in the direction you left, and said, "Their season is about to begin. There's nothing you can do." And the moment they said this, the spiritual atmosphere shifted. Angels moved. Energy aligned. Destiny cracked open. Because that sentence came from someone who can't be fooled. Someone who knows your path. Someone who knows exactly what's coming to you. It wasn't a threat. It was a prophecy. My child, heaven is telling you this so you stop blaming yourself. You didn't fail. You weren't late. You weren't unlucky. You were being protected from people who wanted to take advantage of your heart. People who wanted you to doubt your own worth. People who kept measuring your value through their insecurities. But now they're scared because something inside you has awakened. You are starting to move differently. Think differently. Speak differently. Walk differently. And they know this new version of you won't tolerate nonsense. Won't accept disrespect. Won't ignore red flags. Won't carry dead weight. Won't repeat old cycles. That's why they whispered, because the version of you they could manipulate is gone. My child, the whisper you missed is the reason you're about to win. The jealousy behind your back is the proof that your blessing is close. The fear in their voice is the confirmation that heaven has stepped into your story. You're not walking into an ordinary season. You're walking into a season of restoration, exposure, elevation, and divine justice. And the same people who whispered about you will soon whisper, "How did they rise so fast?" My child, hold your head high. Something big is coming. Something unexpected. Something heaven protected. And nothing they whispered can stop it. My beloved child, listen closely now, because what happened after those whispers was far more intense than anything you've heard so far, and heaven is insisting that you understand this before you take your next step. The moment you walked away, the room didn't relax, it tightened. Their shoulders stiffened, their eyes followed you even after you disappeared, and the air around them turned heavy because they realized something terrifying: you are becoming aware. They whispered not out of curiosity, but out of fear, because fear has a way of revealing the truth faster than any confession. One of them leaned closer and said, "Why do I feel like they're not the same person anymore?" My child, that sentence exposed everything. They can feel your energy rising. They can sense the shift in your spirit. They can see the strength returning to your eyes. They know that the version of you who tolerated disrespect, pain, confusion, manipulation, silence, and hidden intentions is disappearing. And that scares them more than anything. Heaven wants you to know this: your silence is loud. Your presence is changing. Your intuition is sharper. Your aura is stronger. Your spirit is awakening. And they can feel every bit of it. That's why they whispered so desperately. That's why their heartbeat changed the moment you turned away. They felt the glow behind you, that quiet divine protection that even they couldn't ignore. They tried to pretend they didn't notice it, but they did. One of them whispered, "Something is protecting them. I can feel it." And yes, my child, something is protecting you. The angels have been walking behind you, beside you, and ahead of you for months, guarding you from traps you didn't see, lies you didn't hear, and intentions you didn't sense yet. But now the protection is becoming visible even to those who never believed in it. What they saw in your face today was a warning, a spiritual one. They saw someone who has suffered, learned, risen, and transformed without saying a word. Someone who has walked through betrayal without breaking. Someone who has carried heavy emotions without collapsing. Someone who has been underestimated for too long. And someone who is finally stepping into the identity heaven wrote for them. That's why they panicked. That's why they whispered. And that's why heaven is revealing every detail to you now. Child, after their whisper, one of them said something that changed everything. We have to be careful, they're starting to see the truth. This truth they're afraid of isn't about them, it's about you. You're starting to see who's real and who's pretending. You're starting to feel who's genuine and who's jealous. You're starting to understand who supports you and who only stays close to monitor you. And your spirit, even without words, is breaking every illusion around you. My beloved child, something they planned is falling apart. A conversation they had behind your back is unraveling. A secret they tried to hide is slipping through their fingers. And their fear is exposing them faster than heaven ever needed to. That's why the whispers sounded shaky. That's why they kept glancing at the door. That's why they couldn't breathe normally. They felt watched, not by you, but by a higher force. For the first time, they realized they misjudged you. You're not weak. You're not lost. You're not unaware. You're not dependent on anyone's approval. You're rising. And your rise threatens the people who benefited from your doubt. After their whisper, an even more shocking moment happened. Someone else entered the space. This person didn't speak right away. They just looked in the direction you left and, with a serious voice that silenced everyone, said, "They're chosen. Nothing will stop what's coming to them." That sentence froze the entire room. It wasn't a comment. It wasn't an opinion. It was a declaration. A prophecy. A spiritual verdict. The angels echoed it. The atmosphere shifted. Your path lit up. Because heaven made it clear, the blessing meant for you is unavoidable. Child, the reason you've been feeling tension in the air, strange energy from people, sudden intuition in your heart, and a pull toward new directions is because your breakthrough is closer than you imagined. When they looked at your face, they didn't see your problems, they saw your potential. They saw the light returning. They saw the confidence forming. They saw the destiny waking up. And that scared them into whispering. But heaven is whispering too, and heaven whispers louder. You are about to shock everyone who doubted you. You are stepping into a season where people who tried to control you will lose access. People who whispered about you will watch you rise. People who misunderstood you will witness your transformation. And people who tried to dim your glow will watch it become brighter than ever. My child, brace yourself. Your story is shifting. Your energy is climbing. Your blessings are accelerating. And your enemies are trembling, because they can feel what's coming before you even see it. Don't stop. Don't slow down. Don't shrink back. You are stepping into a destiny that will silence every whisper ever spoken behind your back. My beloved child, you need to hear what happened next, because the moment they realized someone had declared you chosen, their entire energy collapsed. Their faces changed, their posture shifted, their confidence disappeared, and suddenly the people who thought they understood you realized they never even scratched the surface of your destiny. One of them muttered under their breath, "Then we're in trouble, my child." That one sentence shook the room because for the first time, the people who whispered behind your back felt the consequences of their intentions. They realized that every jealous thought, every hidden plan, every manipulative action they tried to plant in your path is now returning to them. Heaven does not allow a chosen soul to stay blinded forever, and your eyes are opening faster than they expected. The moment you stepped away, they felt your absence in a way they couldn't ignore. They realized you were no longer under their emotional shadow. They realized you were no longer depending on their validation. They realized you were detaching, rising, stepping into a higher version of yourself that they can't reach. And my child, nothing terrifies people more than watching someone they underestimated evolve into someone they can never control again. They whispered because they saw your spirit waking up. They whispered because your silence became louder than their words. They whispered because they felt their influence slipping through their fingers. But what they didn't expect, what they were not prepared for, was the reaction of the spiritual world. The angels did not remain silent. Heaven didn't sit and watch. The very moment they whispered, the energy around them shifted. A cold breeze moved through the room, not physical wind, but spiritual wind, the kind that only appears when destiny is being defended. They looked around nervously, sensing something wasn't right. One of them said, "Why does it feel like someone is listening to us?" Someone else replied, "Because they're protected." "I've felt this before." My beloved child, they were right. They were being listened to. Not by a person. Not by you. But by the divine forces assigned to your life. Angels who stand guard. Angels who shield your name. Angels who intercept negativity before it reaches your heart. Angels who turn every whispered doubt into confirmation of your blessing. They didn't expect your protection to be this strong. They didn't expect your spirit to be this activated. They didn't expect your destiny to be this guarded. And now the whispers they used against you are the same whispers exposing them. My child, one person in that room, someone who usually stays silent, suddenly spoke up with a trembling voice. They said, "Stop talking about them like this, you don't know what's coming." That line made everyone freeze. Because that person knows something that the others don't. They've sensed the shifts around you. They've noticed the signs. They've felt the spiritual pressure building. They know that your breakthrough is not just coming, it's already in motion. It's already touching the edges of your life. It's already shaking the places that were unfair to you. It's already redirecting opportunities that were stolen from you. And the people who whispered sensed this too, and that's why they panicked. But my child, the real twist happened right after this. Something unexpected. Something none of them could explain. The lights in the room dimmed slightly, not physically, but energetically. A heavy silence fell over everyone. And suddenly, one of them said, "Did you feel that?" Another responded, "Yes, it felt like a warning." And that's exactly what it was. A warning from the spiritual world that their intentions had been exposed. A warning that they crossed a line they shouldn't have crossed. A warning that the person they whispered about is not ordinary, they are protected, chosen, marked, and destined. My beloved child, you. It's you. You are the one their fear revolves around. You are the one their whispers revealed. You are the one whose presence they can't figure out anymore. Heaven made it clear that the time of people playing with your spirit is over. No more manipulation. No more illusions. No more draining energy. No more fake closeness. No more pretending to care. From this point on, anyone who whispers against you will whisper themselves into their own downfall. And now listen closely. After the warning energy filled the room, someone finally confessed something that changed everything. They said, "They're not going to need us much longer, they're about to rise." This was the first time they admitted the truth out loud, that your growth is undeniable, unstoppable, unmistakable. They know they cannot hide the blessing coming your way. They know the season you're stepping into will leave them behind. They know you're about to receive clarity, strength, opportunities, people, breakthroughs, and protection that they can't interfere with anymore. My child, many people don't fear losing you. They fear losing access to the version of you that didn't know your worth. And that version of you? It's gone. Forever. The version of you who tolerated lies, gone. The version of you who stayed silent to keep peace, gone. The version of you who let others control your emotions, gone. The version of you who second-guessed your intuition, gone. You are entering a phase where your spirit leads you with accuracy. Where your energy exposes everyone instantly. Where your blessings attract the right people. Where your confidence scares the wrong ones. The whispers you weren't meant to hear have now become the soundtrack of your rise. Their fear is your confirmation. Their panic is your proof. Their whispers are your validation that heaven has touched your path. And now the spiritual world is telling you this loud and clear. You are walking into a season where the same people who whispered behind your back will whisper in shock watching your rise. They won't understand how you healed. They won't understand how you transformed. They won't understand how blessings found you. They won't understand how everything suddenly aligned for you. They won't understand how you became untouchable. But heaven understands. Heaven planned it. Heaven protected it. Heaven timed it. My beloved child, your story is not slowing down, it's accelerating. And this message reached you today for one reason. Your rise begins now. My beloved child, listen even more carefully now, because what happened after they realized you were rising was something none of them could hide, not even with their fake smiles or careful voices. The moment that confession slipped into the air, they're about to rise, a wave of panic hit them so suddenly that even their bodies betrayed their fear. One person's hands began shaking, another looked at the door as if they expected someone to walk in, and a third person felt their heart pounding so loudly they had to hold their chest. Why? Because they knew they had finally reached the moment they feared the most, the moment where the person they whispered about, the person they underestimated, the person they thought they had control over, was stepping into a destiny where their opinions no longer mattered. My child, that realization shattered them. Because when someone sees you rising, but they know they did nothing to help, their whispers turn into regrets. Their jealousy turns into anxiety. Their secrets turn into nightmares. And that's exactly what happened in that room. After their panic, one of them spoke again, someone who usually acts bold, confident, superior, but this time, their voice cracked when they said, "Do you think they know what we said about them earlier?" The room froze. My beloved child, you need to understand the weight of that question. They are not scared of being exposed. They are scared because they know exposure is coming. They can feel it. They can sense the truth crawling toward the surface. They can sense that heaven is getting ready to pull the curtain down on their real intentions. And the more they whispered, the more nervous they became. Someone said, "What if someone told them? What if they've been acting quiet because they already know?" My child, they are terrified of your silence. Your stillness is shaking their spirit. Your calmness is making them question everything. Because you haven't confronted anyone. You haven't exposed anyone. You haven't said a word. And silence is the most powerful revenge, because it forces people to face their own guilt. In that silence, they began remembering things they said, not things you heard. They remembered how many times they doubted your dreams. How many times they downplayed your strength. How many times they manipulated your kindness. How many times they pretended to support you while secretly hoping you wouldn't rise above them. And now that you are rising, their skeletons are rattling in the dark corners of their souls. My child, they didn't whisper because they were curious. They whispered because the truth inside them is starting to eat them alive. They whispered because your growth exposes their insecurities. They whispered because your blessings expose their intentions. They whispered because your strength exposes their masks. And heaven is letting you feel this, not to scare you, but to prepare you. Because the next chapter of your life requires you to walk with sharper intuition, firmer boundaries, higher standards, and a spirit that recognizes real energy instantly. You are not the same. You are awakening. And the awakening is making people tremble. After a moment of silence, someone finally spoke the sentence that broke the entire atmosphere: "If they rise, we lose control." That sentence, my child, is the truth behind every whisper. Every envy. Every hidden jab. Every passive-aggressive action. Every fake smile. Every sudden distance. Every strange behavior you've been noticing. They weren't afraid of losing you. They were afraid of losing the power they thought they had over how you think, how you feel, how you see yourself. But now, they see that power dying in front of their eyes. And that's why their whispers turned into panic. One person even said, "What if they become someone we can't reach anymore?" They already feel it happening. This new version of you, strong, intuitive, silent, protected, is someone they can't manipulate. Someone they can't deceive. Someone they can't emotionally corner. Someone they can't control with guilt or confusion. And that version of you is exactly who heaven has been shaping in silence. But the most shocking moment happened right after this, something no one in that room expected. A sound, not a human voice, not a physical noise, but a spiritual vibration. A pulse. A pressure. A shift. Everyone looked around, confused, because it felt like the air tightened. And then, one person whispered, "It feels like we're being warned." They were. Heaven was warning them, "Your hands are off this chosen soul. Your whispers will no longer touch their destiny. Your intentions hold no power here. Your plans collapse the moment they begin." And suddenly, guilt started creeping into their faces. They knew something divine was happening. They knew a spiritual boundary had been placed around you. They knew every word they said in jealousy had been heard by the angels, and nothing hidden stays hidden forever. One of them, in fear, said, "What if everything we tried to stop actually happens faster now?" And the answer, my child, is yes. Your rise is about to accelerate. Your blessings are about to multiply. Your intuition is about to sharpen even more. Your clarity is about to arrive in a supernatural way. The same people who whispered will watch doors open for you, doors they never expected you to walk through. They will watch opportunities find you, opportunities they thought would never reach you. They will watch people support you, the kind of support they never gave. They will watch your spirit glow, with the light they didn't want you to discover. And the most powerful part? They can't stop it. They can't delay it. They can't interfere with it. They can't block it. They can't distract you from it anymore. My beloved child, heaven wants you to know this: your rise is the answer to their whispers. Your glow is the response to their doubts. Your strength is the reply to their jealousy. Your destiny is the closure they never expected. And now, the spiritual world is preparing you for something even bigger. Something that will silence every whisper ever spoken against you. Something that will make even your enemies say, "How did they become so unshakable?" My child, hold steady. Your life is about to shift in a way that will shock everyone who thought they could predict your story. They whispered because they saw the beginning. They'll fall silent when they witness the result. My beloved child, this is the final thing you must hear, because everything leads to this moment, the moment when heaven reveals why all this happened, why they whispered, why your presence shook them, and why your silence became their fear. After all the panic, all the trembling, all the nervous questions, the room fell into an eerie stillness, the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, but full of truth, full of consequences, full of divine judgment settling into the air. They weren't just scared of you rising, they were scared of what your rise means for them. And in that heavy silence, someone spoke one last sentence, the sentence that sent chills through everyone standing there: "We should have treated them better, now it's too late." My child, heaven wants you to understand the weight of that line. They realized they lost access to you. They realized they misjudged you. They realized they pushed away the very soul they should have respected. They realized they broke the bridge they now desperately wish they still had. And in that split second, every mask they wore fell off. Every fake smile cracked. Every hidden intention became obvious. Every whispered jealousy echoed back at them. Because when a chosen soul rises, heaven always exposes the truth behind the people around them. And now, hear this carefully. Whatever they said behind your back, whatever they planned, whatever negativity they tried to send your way, none of it touched you. Do you know why? Because your spirit was never theirs to influence. Your destiny was never theirs to decide. Your future was never tied to their opinion. Your glow was never dimmed by their jealousy. Your progress was never dependent on their support. They're only realizing this now, at the end, when everything they tried to hold over you has slipped through their fingers like sand. And now they're looking at each other, wondering, how did we lose our control so fast? They didn't lose it fast. They lost it the moment heaven chose you. They lost it the moment your spirit awakened. They lost it the moment you stopped doubting yourself. They lost it the moment you walked into the room with a glow they couldn't understand. They lost it the moment you walked away from the room with a silence that exposed their guilt. And now, something even deeper is happening, something none of them expected. Their whispers, their judgments, their doubts, have turned into fear, but not fear of you. Fear of the divine protection surrounding you. Fear of the consequences of touching a chosen soul. Fear of the blessings heading toward you faster than anyone predicted. Fear of your destiny accelerating while their intentions crumble. In that room, as the truth sank into their spirits, one person whispered, "We can't undo what we did." Another replied, "The best thing to do now is stay out of their way." My child, that's exactly what heaven is telling them. Stay out of your way. Stay out of your path. Stay out of your destiny. Stay out of your blessings. Stay out of your spiritual journey. Because the next season of your life is too powerful, too intentional, too divinely orchestrated for low-vibration people to be anywhere near it. And then, something miraculous happened, not in the room, but around you. A shift. A release. A lightness. A spiritual unlocking. The angels who watched everything unfold lifted their wings and sealed your name in protection so strong that nothing whispered against you will ever hold power again. You may not have seen that moment, but your soul felt it. That's why lately you've felt pressure leaving your chest. That's why your intuition has been sharper than ever. That's why your spirit feels like something big is coming. Because this entire situation, every whisper, every glance, every fear, was heaven clearing the path for your breakthrough. You are stepping into a season where people who doubted you will watch you shine. People who whispered will choke on their own regret. People who played games will face their own karma. People who misjudged you will learn who you really are. People who underestimated you will witness your transformation. People who tried to slow your destiny will watch it accelerate beyond anything imaginable. And you, my beloved child, you will rise. Not quietly. Not slowly. Not halfway. But fully, undeniably, powerfully, visibly, with a glow that no whisper, no jealousy, no secret conversation can ever dim. This is why heaven brought you this message. To close the chapter on their whispers. To open the chapter on your greatness. To remind you that destiny always outshines doubt. To show you that their fear was your confirmation. To reveal that their whispers were actually your prophecy. My child, this is your moment. This is your turning point. This is your spiritual elevation. This is the beginning of the version of you they never expected, but heaven always knew you would become. Walk forward now. Your rise starts here. Their whispers end here. And your destiny, unstoppable, undeniable, divinely written, begins now.